Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my channel. My name is Zach. I live here in Vancouver, Washington, and today's video is going to be about the 112th Avenue Safety and Mobility Project. So if you're not from the area or maybe just not familiar with this project, the City of Vancouver is going to be repaving 112th Avenue in East Vancouver. So they've broken it down into three sections here based on their paving schedule. So in the blue there, that's between Mill Plain up to 28th Street is in the blue there. That's going to be done in summer of 2026. North of that up to 51st Street sometime in 2028. And then there's a section south of Mill Plain that connects to McGilvery. That is currently unplanned as of right now. So the reason I'm making the video today is south of 18th Street, the city is going to be repurposing a car vehicle traffic lane in each direction and replacing it with a buffered active mobility lane. Those will connect all the way south to Mill Plain and then eventually to McGilvery, which is fantastic. It's going to be a great active mobility and needed connection in that part of town. North of 18th Street, though, due to higher traffic counts and a inconsistent or narrower curb-to-curb width, the city is not proposing putting in active mobility lanes on 112th north of 18th Street. So, at an earlier presentation, the city planners proposed that we can instead have parallel routes running north and south to 112th. So I went out a couple days ago and rode those potential parallel routes, and in today's video I'm going to give some feedback about how viable or not viable those parallel routes may be, as well as just some other general thoughts that I had while riding through this area. So the first parallel route I checked out, I was traveling eastbound on Burton/28th, went south on Four Seasons Lane all the way to northeast 18th Street before heading west, and then meeting up with 112th and heading south to those future active mobility. I'm going to leave the clips of me riding in their entirety. I'll also leave timestamps as to when I get to intersections where I had some thoughts, or maybe other sections where I had thoughts. So if you're not interested in watching me ride the whole journey, feel free to skip ahead to those timestamps that I'll include. Yeah, so once you get south of this roundabout here, the painted bike lanes just drop off, and it leads to just having sharrows. There wasn't too much issue that I had with this. Car traffic was moving slowly. However, this is a neighborhood street, so there's no reason why the city couldn't come in and make these travel lanes even narrower and reuse that space as a painted bike lane. And especially once you get closer to 18th, there's a pretty steep hill. And climbing a steep hill on a bike, it's hard to stay completely straight, so having just some kind of buffered space there would be nice. traveling westbound here on 18th now, trying to get to where I can go south on 112th after this. And I got lucky here. There wasn't too much traffic, but traffic is moving at a good rate of speed. And getting over to that left turn lane, it could be definitely very dangerous, or if not impossible, when there's more traffic. So something will definitely need to be done, because people, if they want to use this as a parallel route, Four Seasons Lane will need to be able to get onto 18th and then get safely headed south on 112th. Yeah, this intersection is brutal. This is 18th and 112th. Words really don't describe how terrible this intersection is to be for anybody outside of a car. It's loud. Cars are moving at a really high rate of speed, and it's an incredibly wide intersection. I know that initially the city said maybe we could put bike boxes to make these parallel routes more connective. That's not going to cut it at this intersection, and nor should it be accepted. There's more than enough room in this intersection to put in a quick build protected bike intersection, which would alleviate that previous left turn conflict that I mentioned before. And it's really what is necessary if you're going to make this intersection safe. Nobody should be sitting where I'm sitting right now on my bike in this video here. They should be, that's a dangerous spot you're putting active mobility users in. Here I am traveling east on Northeast 18th, and similar kind of thoughts to what I had when I was traveling westbound, which is that if these are going to be parallel routes, and specifically Four Seasons Lane in this video, it needs to be to where that active mobility users are not expected to cross this many lanes of traffic. Like I said, I got lucky again in this video here. There wasn't much traffic, but this is uphill, and expecting active mobility users to get over to this left turn lane is unacceptable. This intersection is a little bit smaller than 112th, so bike boxes may work here, but something will definitely need to be done to treat that intersection. The second parallel road I checked out, heading westbound on Burton / 28th, and then basically taking 109th parallel with 112th. You do mix on some neighborhood streets, but mostly 109th, and then connect up with 51st at the north end. This intersection here with Burton and 109th is actually not too bad. I would like to probably see some bike boxes put in for people that would be traveling south on 109th that are looking to go eastbound on Burton, but otherwise, for the most part, pretty small intersection would be perfect for a bike box. Overall, as I was traveling on 109th, my main thought was pretty much that this would actually probably work as a parallel route. I was pleasantly surprised. I had a couple cars pull behind me, but they were patient, didn't try and make any close passes until there was no traffic coming the other direction before they moved around me. However, with that being said, this is a pretty wide street, and parking, at least by my guess, was maybe half utilized. So I would love to see the city, if they're serious about making this a parallel route, removing parking on one side and then maybe putting in either a two-way cycle track on the other side or something like that. But for the most part, not too many complaints about 109th, just that it's wide, and I do think the city could probably put in some kind of bike route by removing parking or consolidating it to one side. And so here I'm going north of 39th Street, and north of 39th Street, this parallel route, and the city can choose a couple different ways. There's a couple different ways you can go through this neighborhood here, but this neighborhood is perfect for a neighborhood greenway. Cars were moving slowly through the area. The streets are mostly pretty narrow, so there's not people speeding through here. I think all you would really need to do is maybe add some signage, maybe a couple more speed bumps. But for the most part, this is already would be fine as a parallel route. Just it's mostly south of 39th on 109th that I think needs some work. I am turning eastbound on 51st Street, which is the northernmost section here of this project, although there are some serious improvements needed north of 51st, but that's a discussion for another time. So what are my overall thoughts on my ride? Honestly, I think that these parallel routes are more viable than I thought initially. So once you get onto the parallel routes that the city has potentially identified, they feel okay. 109th north of south of 39th needs some work. There's a lot of underutilized parking on that section. I would love to see the city remove parking on one side of the road and reclaim that space as a bike lane or a two-way cycle track. But especially north of 39th, it feels great. And honestly, for Four Seasons Lane, similar experience. Even south of that roundabout where the bike lanes drop out, it feels okay. Where the city is going to need to do some serious work, though, if these are going to be viable parallel routes, is at the intersections, and especially 18th and 112th. That intersection is miserable as an active mobility user right now, and bike boxes are just not going to cut it. A protected intersection really needs to be what the city is putting in there. And even if they're not concrete protected, just a quick build with flex posts would be a world of difference as far as how safe active mobility users feel. And quite honestly, at 18th and Four Seasons Lane, it's probably a similar treatment is needed there, but bike boxes may be able to work. But yeah, that's where this project with these parallel routes is either going to sink or swim, is how well or how much is the city willing to invest in these intersections. Because I can tell you right now, unless some serious investments are made into those intersections, those bike lanes that are traveling north and south on 18th or south of 18th there on 112th are going to be wildly underutilized because you can't get to them, or at least not safely. So overall, like I said, pleasantly surprised with my trip. The potential is there, big time. It's just we need to invest in those intersections, and those parallel routes will be completely viable and create a much more connected network on the east side, which is desperately needed. So, with that being said, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen and watch my video here. Not sure exactly if I'm going to be doing these in the future or if this is just kind of a one-time deal, but regardless, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. And once again, thanks for your time and have a great day.